Okay, Phil, never a dull moment with Peterborough Sports. Bit wet this afternoon, and the game's been abandoned with the score at 2-1 to Southport. What's your views on that for a start?
Really interesting views, I hope. There's two ways of looking at it, you know. Could you say at the time, I know we're 2-1 down, could you say at the time we were in the ascendancy? I would have said yes. But I would also have said I felt like we were in the ascendancy when they scored their first goal, and I felt like we were in the ascendancy when they scored the second goal. It's something that I have to bed into the players or educate the players with regards to transition of the ball. And I'm not one of these modern day coaches that loves talking the word, you know, saying the word transition, but the transition or the changeover of possession is killing us, because we're committing probably one or two young lads are running forward thinking that they're going to get the ball, or one or two young lads are running forward thinking that we're going to create a chance, and that fizzes out, or it did do in the first half. It fizzles out a wee bit, and next thing you know, one or two passes and they're in our penalty box. That for me is a mentality. That's something that I need to work at. Now, whether that's a system change already, I don't know. I understand that we're playing three centre backs when I arrived here. That was the reason why I continued with that last week against Hornchurch. I've tried to work at the three centre back system on the training ground, and hopefully I got enough information into them. Then all of a sudden we sign a new player on Thursday, and there's a change of personnel. But I'm not bemoaning that by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really thanking the chairman for bringing the players in. I thought we've seen a little glimpse of Jez Davies, and I thought what I saw in the second half was enough to say, wow, he's better than what we've got. But there's lots of things to look over, think about, wonder in these given moments. And you know, the one thing is, have we been handed a get out of jail free card? I don't know. I thought at the time we could go on to get an equaliser and possibly a winner, but I'm bound to say that as a manager of Peterborough Sports, I'm bound to say that. Their manager knew it was coming. When it was coming across the pitch, the referee towards the two managers, their manager was clearly happy with the scoreline, which he would be, and I was clearly happy with the way my team were playing at that moment in time. But the thought process I was going through was, if we got to 2-2, would you stop the game? And his answer was yes. So that in itself tells you that he's made the right decision to abandon the game. Now, whether the league make us replay the whole game, or whether the league make us replay 27 minutes to go with extra time added on, I don't know. But whatever they go with, have we got out of jail? I don't know. Only the gods can tell you that one. I can't tell you that one. Were we playing well enough at the time to get an equaliser? I think we were. Could we have gone on to win the game? I'm bound to say yes. But their manager's bound to say they've lost 3 points.
So we did see your assistant Charlie chatting with the fourth official before that. Was that something you were trying to attract his attention? Because to be fair, it was very wet before the game in that corner, and it didn't stop raining all game, did it?
I think that far corner, what we're looking at right now, it looks like it's almost a lake forming in the far corner. Now, whether that's an area of the pitch that's not very much used, it doesn't matter. As soon as the ball goes into that area, and then there's a stoppage of players running unnaturally, a stoppage of the ball, which it was on numerous occasions. In fact, in the first couple of minutes, I think we saw it in the bottom corner when I think Malik was chasing a ball in the ascendancy, and the ball just stopped. I thought, that could be a problem later on, which it turned out to be. But again, you know, we weren't crying out for, you know, we weren't saying anything like, you know, this game's got to be called off because of serious foul play or serious, you know, threat to any kind of danger to the players. If we thought that, we would have been at the fourth official. But I think the referee and the assistants and the fourth official have made the right decision. There's no doubt about it. If I'm Southport's manager, would I feel aggrieved? Well, I think he had a support mechanism around him that were in his ear, that were putting things in that weren't the right things to be putting in. You know, like I think one guy was running around shouting that we can get a big sponge on the pitch and shift the water and all this kind of stuff. It's not what you want to hear. You know, you want to hear that the players are going to come off the pitch in a safe manner. And you know, if you are trying to get the game replayed, as it were, you know, the last 23, 25, 27 minutes, whatever it was, it had to be a safe environment, and it clearly isn't.
So let's talk about the football then, in the bit of the game that we did have. The three guys who went off injured last weekend, Aaron Powell, Mark Jones and Mustafa Carriol.
Yeah.
None of those made it. Welcome back to Dan Jarvis, and Malik and Richard, the new guys, both played. I know you were saying that you would have liked to have had Malik against Hornchurch. Was that always your plan, to get the new guys straight in?
I think it's a blessing in disguise today. We've got 65 minutes out of another 65 minutes out of Marcel. Malik had 45 minutes. Was it the intention to just play him 45? Well, you know, because of the pitch and how heavy it was, and it's his first game and all of this kind of stuff. It was probably a blessing in disguise that we brought him off in half time, and then the game was abandoned. Richard, I thought, got through it, but as you well know, defenders probably are not working as hard or as dynamic as what the strikers do. So Richard got through that quite well. But the forced changes at half time were purely tactical, you know. I made a change to try and accommodate for Sam McClintock. And why I'm saying that is he looks like a player that I like to work with, you know. He's got something about him that I like his edge, I like his ability on the ball, I like the way he gets into pockets of space and affects the game. But the three injured players that went out last week clearly weren't available this week. But again, that blessing in disguise. If the replay is Tuesday, will it be available Tuesday? Maybe one of them. If the replay is not until maybe after the cup game, then maybe all of them. So let's assess the situation. I've never been in a situation like this before, Nigel, where I've maybe managed, coached and played in over a couple of thousand games. I've never been in this situation before, when the teams have been brought off and the referee was hooing and ahhing whether to make a decision to get them back out there, and yet it clearly hadn't stopped raining, you know, for the amount of time we were in the tunnel. It just needed a, what shall we say, not a positive decision, it just needed a proactive decision. He's decided to abandon the game or stop the game. Well, if the rain's not stopped, it's not going to get any better. It should have just been a decision made, and then we'll get back on a coach and we'll come back whenever you ask us to.
I agree. It was indecisive at best, I think, and we really needed him to take a lead. But getting back to that first half then, we had a lot of ball in that first half. To be fair, we didn't do a lot with it. Yeah. We didn't have that end product up front, did we? It's
something I need to work at. Boothie came on at half time. That wasn't the plan. It was going to be almost like a 60-30, you know. I wanted to try and get 60 minutes into DJ, having not seen him play, but he was playing in a position that he's not used to playing in. He's used to having the maybe the weight or the size of Jonesy alongside him. So with that in mind, has to lead the line. It's a different position, don't get me wrong, but when he came off and we replaced him with Theo alongside Max, that's when we started looking like we were popping around, you know, the ball around in the final third, and Boothie got his chance and put it away. For me, he was there to make a point, and the point's well made as far as I'm concerned. I'm looking for a striker that's going to score a goal, and he's all of a sudden popped up and scored that goal. I like his style of play. Does the physicality or lack of physicality really bother me? The fact that we've got players up front that can actually play in them positions without the lack of physicality, it doesn't matter to me, as long as they cause problems to the opposition, and I thought Boothie did when he came on. And yeah, indeed, he had a great pre-season. Max, he struggled with confidence, I think, during the season, but it was great work by Sam McClintock, wasn't it? Cut the ball back, and you know, he was there in the box ready to tap it in, so hopefully that'll bring that confidence back for him. And Nigel, I think there's an abundance of quality in the final third. We've just got to understand how to get there, and when we do get there, how to punish the opposition, and I think that goal highlights what I'm talking about. And Jez Davis, just finally, Jez Davis had a chance to get us a goal just before we actually scored. Again, a great cutback from Sam McClintock, and really, you'd look Jez to put that away, wouldn't you? He's disappointed. Just had a word with him in there, and he's hit the ball with power and trying to burst the net, you know. And I just think that was a position where he's in the final part of the pitch, the penalty box, and it just needs to be placed into the side corner. And he's gone for power and glamour to a certain extent. That's possibly the reason why he's missed the target. But again, the the passing and moving in that final third. And even in the first half, when we were a goal down or 2 goals down, some of the passing and moving that I'm seeing, it's quite eye-catching. It's quite easy on the eye, but I have to couple that easy on the eye, eye-catching football with clean sheet mentality, and at the moment we haven't got that clean sheet mentality. But I've only worked with them for a couple of training sessions so far. They don't know what I'm really all about, and I love clean sheets, I love defenders who put their bodies on the line. I like, certainly not starting the game in the manner which we did do, first attack, first minute of the game, we're a goal down, uphill challenge, uphill task, and then the second goal goes in, and it could have even been a third. To get in 2-0 at half time, at least you've got something to work with. We made a couple of changes at half time, and we stepped up to the plate to a certain extent, and then obviously the rest's history, as they say.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for talking to us. A frustrating afternoon, Phil, but hopefully the boys can come back here and get a result later on.
Whether it's 23, 27 or 90 minutes, when we come back here, hopefully we'll be again better prepared, not for this kind of weather, but certainly for what Southport can throw at us.